Hello, everybody. Hello. Got my little Santa hat on. I hope you are all feeling the sparkle from Christmas. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas to all of you. I normally do an introduction, but looking at all the names here, I think you all know me. My name is Hazel Baker, and I'm a London tour guide. So hello to Malcolm and Julia, Sue and Brian, Geeta and Rosemary, Sarah and Tony, David and Linda, Amanda, Anne with an E, Paul, Jeff, Joan and Ron, Mike and Caroline. So lovely to see you all. I miss you all hugely. I'm looking forward to having a good old natter when all of this is finally over with. But I must say, I'm glad I'm doing virtual tours with the weather outside. It is quite frightful for this evening. And of course, Christmas quiz. This is to challenge you to make sure that you know as much as you possibly can about Christmas and London combined. So we have 6 rounds for you today, which is more than the ones that we were doing before. I know some of you have attended before, and we did 4, but these ones are 6. So they're all multiple choice once again, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, what you should have on your website, you should have a me in a little square on your left, and then you should have a form for you to fill in. If you can, please enter your email address and your first and your last name, or you can use a team Christmassy name if you wish, then so be it. And then that means we can get ready for round 1. We've got a time limit of an hour, which this is the 3rd time I'm doing it, so I have been able to keep it in with the hour, and we'll be able to do the quickly see who are the top performing teams as well. Now, if you have any issues whatsoever, can you please text or WhatsApp me on the number on the screen now? My phone is right here ready, just to make sure that you have any problems. And also, once I've completed a round, I will just double check with you to make sure that you don't want me to repeat any of the questions in that round. You will only need to submit your answers at the very end of all 6 rounds. They are multiple choice, as I've said. You can't see the questions, but you can see the answers. So you have to listen to me for the questions. So send me a text or a WhatsApp if you have any problems whatsoever. But please do not press refresh on your page, because any entrance answers that you've submitted will be lost. And I don't want you losing any of that hard work. You can just copy and paste the link that you've got into a new tab in your browser if you need to do that. And also, apologies in advance if you hear any weird sound effects. That is my house rabbit Maxwell, who has decided that now he wants to eat my carpet and I can't stop him. And I'll give him a good talking to after the quiz. Alrighty, so if I can make sure, please, that you have entered your email address and your name or a team name, we can get into round 1, which is general knowledge. I will keep my mobile phone number there just in case you have any issues throughout. So the first one, general knowledge. Let me get sure it's big enough. Getting old now, I need a bigger font size. Okay, so round 1, question 1. Shakespeare wrote a play for Elizabeth I as a Christmas present. Which play was it? Shakespeare wrote a play for Elizabeth I as a Christmas present, but which play was it? So you got the answers of Winter's Tale, Merry Wives of Windsor, Twelfth Night, and As You Like It. So you can click on one of them. And even if you have no clue whatsoever, you have a 25% chance of getting it right. So if you don't know, just give it a go. Next up, number 2. Where did Joseph, Mary, and Jesus travel to when they left Bethlehem? Where did Joseph, Mary, and Jesus travel to when they left Bethlehem? You got the answers: Egypt, Palestine, Samaria, and Galilee. Number 3. What were the children drinking in the first commercially produced Christmas cards? What were the children drinking in the first commercially produced Christmas cards? We have eggnog, gin, mead, and wine. And any of you who have been on my Victorian Christmas tour, you should know this one. All right, question number 4. In which country was eggnog invented? In which country was eggnog invented? You got the options: England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Which one do you think it is? If anyone's got a good eggnog recipe, please do send it to me, because I've had some right disasters. Number 5. Who wrote the first ever King's Christmas message? Who wrote the first ever King's Christmas message? Was it Thomas Hardy, Joseph Conrad, Rudyard Kipling, or George Bernard Shaw? All right, so round 1, question 6, you'll see it as 1.6 on your answer sheet. In which century was Christmas first celebrated in England? In which century was Christmas first celebrated in England? 4th, 6th, 8th, or 10th century? Okay, number 7. Which 2 of Santa's reindeer have names meaning thunder and lightning? Which 2 of Santa's reindeer have names meaning thunder and lightning? And you have the option of Torden and Vixen, Dunder and Blitzed, Comet and Blinden, and Donner and Blitzen. All right. Number 8. In the poem, The Night Before Christmas, what did children have visions of? In the poem, The Night Before Christmas, what did children have visions of? Number 9. Which saint is celebrated on 26th of December? Which saint is celebrated on 26th of December? So you got the options of St. Nicholas, St. Wenceslas, St. Stephen, and St. Gabriel. And the last one for round 1, number 10. In the novel A Christmas Carol, which was the first ghost to visit Scrooge? In the novel A Christmas Carol, which was the first ghost to visit Scrooge? And you have the options of Jacob Marley, the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost yet to come. All right, so please text me if you would like me to repeat any of those questions, please. Text me, WhatsApp me. I want to make sure that you've all got something that you're happy with. Okay, so you're all quiet, which means I assume that you're all A-OK. Lovely, good. Okay, so we want to go on to round 2, which is music. So don't forget, you only need to submit your answers at the end of the final round, and there are 6 rounds in today's quiz. So question 1 for round 2. So you should see round 2 music 2.1. And the question is, on the 9th day of Christmas, what did my true love send to me? On the 9th day of Christmas, what did my true love send to me? So you have the options 9 lords a leaping, 9 maids a milking, 9 ladies dancing, and 9 pipers piping. You're going to be singing that now, aren't you? Okay. Number 2, round 2, so 2.2. Mary's Boy Child has been a Christmas number 1 twice, in 1957 and 1972, but by 2 different artists. Name them. Mary's Boy Child has been a Christmas number 1 twice, once in 1957 and 1978, by 2 different artists. Name the artists. You have the options Harry Belafonte and Boney M, Johnny Mattis and Boney M and Odyssey, Harry Belafonte and Odyssey. Even if you have no idea, pick one, because you've got a 25% chance of getting it right. All right, so we're on to question 2.3. In which film did the song White Christmas make its first appearance? In which film did the song White Christmas make its first appearance? You have the options of White Christmas, Christmas in Connecticut, Miracle on 34th Street, and Holiday Inn. Okay, so we're now on to 2.4. Which carol does the following lyrics come from? Oh, the rising of the sun, the running of the deer. Which carol does the following lyrics come from? Oh, the rising of the sun, the running of the deer. And you have the options of the holly and the ivy, it came upon a midnight clear, in the bleak midwinter, or the first Noel. All righty. So we're on to question 2.5 of the music round. Which German composer wrote the music for Hark the Herald Angels Sing? Which German composer wrote the music for Hark the Herald Angels Sing? Was it Ludwig van Beethoven? Was it Felix Mendelssohn? Was it Johann Sebastian Bach? Or was it Robert Schubert? So Ludwig van Beethoven, Felix Mendelssohn, Johann Sebastian Bach, or Robert Schumann? Okay, number 6. The chart started in the UK in 1952. Since then, how many Christmas number one song titles have had the word Christmas or Xmas? So the chart started in the UK in 1952. Since then, how many Christmas number one songs have had the word Christmas or Xmas in the title? Moving on to 2.7. Don't forget we're on the music round. The very first Christmas number one in 1952 was called Here in My Heart. Who was the singer? The very first Christmas number one in 1952 was called Here in My Heart. Who was the singer? And you have the options of Bing Crosby, Johnny Ray, Al Martino, and Guy Mitchell. Moving on to 2.8. In 1944, the film Meet Me in St. Louis featured one of our most well-known Christmas songs. But which one? In 1944, the film Meet Me in St. Louis featured one of our most well-known Christmas songs. But which one was it? You have the options of Winter Wonderland, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. Okay, number 9. 2.9. What does the word carol mean? What does the word carol mean? Is it a circle dance accompanied by singers? Is it a song for seasons? Is it walking while singing? Or festive singing for groups? Circle dance accompanied by singers, songs for seasons, walking while singing, and festival singing for groups. And the last question for round 2, the music round, is: who has had the most Christmas number ones in the UK? Who has had the most Christmas number ones in the UK? Is it Queen, the Spice Girls, the Beatles, or Ed Sheeran? Okay, so just checking that no one wants me to repeat any of the questions from round 2, the music round. Okay, nothing, so I assume you're all A-okay. And we are moving on to round 3, which is food and drinks. Okay, so we're now going into 3.1, food and drink round. First one. In the Middle Ages, people ate boar, or a pig's head, smothered in mustard on Christmas Day. Which British city is famously associated with this hot condiment? In the Middle Ages, people ate a boar's head or a pig's head smothered in mustard on Christmas Day. Which British city is famously associated with this hot condiment? You've got Nottingham, Norwich, Nantwich, and Northampton. I'll tell you what, the answer starts with N. Number 2. So you're 3.2 on your answer sheet. Which Christmas dish developed from frumenty, a thick porridge of cereal, dried fruit, and spices? Which Christmas dish developed from frumenty, a thick porridge of cereal, dried fruit, and spices? And you have the options of Christmas pudding, mince pies, stuffing, and Christmas cake. And if you've listened to my recent Tudor Christmas podcast, you'll know the answer to this one. Number 3.3. In Hungary, turkey doesn't feature on the Christmas menu. Which creature usually does? In Hungary, turkey does not feature on the Christmas menu. Which creature usually does? And you have the options of herring, carp, stone bass, and trout. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Don't forget, this is all food and drinks. So number 4, or 3.4 on your answer sheet. What should you eat one of for each of the 12 days of Christmas for good luck? What should you eat one of for each of the 12 days of Christmas for good luck? Is it grapes, figgy puddings, satsumas, or mince pies? Okay, moving on to 3.5. In the 17th century, who made mince pies illegal? In the 17th century, who made mince pies illegal? Was it Charles I, Oliver Cromwell, Louis XIV, or Queen Anne? Okay. So, number 3.6. If you're lucky, you'll have some chocolate in your stocking this year. But when did the first chocolate house open in England? If you're lucky, you'll have some chocolate in your stocking this year. But when did the first chocolate house open in England? So you have the options of 1557, 1607, 1657, or 1707. And if you go to Hampton Court Palace, They have a little section on this. All right, moving on to 3.7. During which monarch's reign did we first start eating turkey at Christmas in England? During which monarch's reign did we first start eating turkey at Christmas in England? And the options are Henry VIII, Charles II, Queen Victoria, or Edward VII. So the options are Henry VIII, Charles II, Queen Victoria, or Edward VII. When did we start eating turkey at Christmas in England? And 3.8 of our food and drinks round. Stollen is the traditional Christmas fruit cake of which country? Stollen is the traditional Christmas fruit cake of which country? And you have the options of Switzerland, Austria, Italy, or Germany. Okay, 2 more to go. 3.9 on your answer sheet. And the question is, what is a female turkey called? What is a female turkey called? You have the options of pen, hen, Janie, or pleasant. What is a female turkey called? And then the final one for the food and drinks round, 3.10. The question is, traditionally served hot at Christmas, what are the ingredients of mulled wine? Traditionally served hot at Christmas, what are the ingredients of mulled wine? And you have the options of red wine, cranberry juice and orange, red wine and lemonade, red wine, sugar and spices, or red wine and assorted fruits. So that's the end of round 3. Please text me, WhatsApp me if you want me to repeat any of the questions for round 3. We're all quiet. I'll take that as a good sign. All righty. So coming on to one of my specialisms, I haven't been able to do my Christmas Carol tour this year. So I've taken my frustrations out and I've put in the questions for round 4, which is Charles Dickens in the City. All right, so we're going to do question 4.1 on your answer sheet now. And the question is, in A Christmas Carol, where do the young Cratchits retrieve the goose from? In A Christmas Carol, where do the young Cratchits retrieve the goose from? You've got the options of the oven, the next door neighbours, the bakers, and the butchers. Number 2. John Leech was the original artist for A Christmas Carol. What magazine was he best known for? John Leech was the original artist for A Christmas Carol. What magazine was he best known for? And you have the options of Punch Magazine, Will-o'-the-Wisp, Gilbert O'Bickett's Monthly Almanac, and Tomahawk. And they were all Victorian magazines at that time. So if you don't know, you've got 1 in 4 chance of getting it right by just choosing one of them. Okay, so we are now moving to 4.3. Charles Dickens's first piece of writing about Christmas appeared under the title Christmas Festivities in Bell's Life in London, which was a weekly newspaper on 27th December 1835. How old was Dickens? So Charles Dickens's first piece of writing about Christmas appeared under the title Christmas Festivities in Bell's Life in London, a weekly newspaper on 27th of December 1835. How old was Dickens? Okay, so you got the options of 24, 27, 34 and 37 for 4.3. Moving on to 4.4. The question is, the Book of Christmas was first published in 1836 and reprinted the following year. It was an early attempt to record and preserve the old customs. But who wrote it? The Book of Christmas was first published in 1836 and reprinted the following year. It was an early attempt to record and preserve the old customs. But who wrote it? You have the options of Thomas Hervey, Charles Dickens, John Forster, and Wilkie Collins. Okay. We're now moving to 4.5. Which of Dickens's novels mentions the George and Vulture at least 20 times? Which of Dickens's novels mentions the George and Vulture at least 20 times? And the options are Sketches by Boz, The Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist, and A Christmas Carol. Number 6. So you got 4.6. Dickens is widely renowned as a writer of grade A ghost stories. Which of the following did he not write? So Dickens is widely renowned as a writer of grade A ghost stories. Which of the following did he not write? And you have the options of The Signalman, Captain Murder and the Devil's Bargain, To Be Read at Dusk, and Through the Eyes of Dead David Donne. Okay, so moving on to question number 7. So you got 4.7 on your answer sheet. How many copies of A Christmas Carol were printed for the first edition? How many copies of A Christmas Carol were printed for the first edition? And you have 4,500, 5,000, 5,500, or 6,000. Okay, number 8. So you got 4.8. Why would Dickens know the sponging house on Cursitor Street well? Why would Dickens know the sponging house on Cursitor Street well? Is it where he took regular baths? It's where he brought his wife presents for his wife. It's where he secretly met his mistress, Ellen Lawless Ternan, or it's where he would visit his father. So why would Dickens know the sponging house on Cursitor Street well? Number 9. Number 9 got 4.9. Okay, so Hamlet is mentioned in the opening paragraphs of which of Dickens's works? Hamlet is mentioned in the opening paragraphs of which of Dickens's works? You have options of A Christmas Carol, The Hanged Man's Bride, The Goblins Who Stole Sexton, or The Mother's Eyes. Hamlet is mentioned in the opening paragraphs of which of Dickens's works? And all of those answers are stories that are written by Charles Dickens. And then we have question 4.10, the last one for the Dickens in the City round. And here we go. When Bob Cratchit slid down the ice on Cornhill in honour of it being Christmas Eve and ran home, where did he run home to? When Bob Cratchit slid down the ice on Cornhill in honour of it being Christmas Eve and ran home, where did he run home to? Options: Clerkenwell, Bloomsbury, Southwark, and Camden. If anybody wants me to ask any of the questions for the Dickens round 4, then please let me know. Just send me a text. No? Okay. So we'll move on to round 5 in that case. And here we have a quick fire round of true or false. So the odds are ever more in your favour now. You've got 50% chance of getting this right or wrong. And these are about Christmas traditions. So are we ready? So I want to fire them through, and we'll have a photo round for 6th. And then it'll give me time to get the answers and give you the scoreboard and answer any of the tricky questions that you want some clarification of. All right. So number 5, true or false? 5.1. The Cutlers have an epic pre-Christmas bacchanal known as the Boar's Head Dinner. The Cutlers have an epic pre-Christmas bacchanal known as the Boar's Head Dinner. True or false? Number 5.2. Goose clubs were held at hundreds of public houses in London. The members would pay £1 a week for 8 to 10 weeks before Christmas, and in addition to a goose, are generally entitled to a bottle of gin for their 10 shillings. Goose clubs were held at hundreds of public houses in London. The members would pay £1 a week for 8 or 10 weeks before Christmas, and in addition to a goose, are generally entitled to a bottle of gin for their 10 shillings. True or false? Number 3. So this is 5.3. The Christmas cracker may have been invented by confectioner Tom Smith, but it is his son Walter you can blame for the paper hats. The Christmas cracker may have been invented by confectioner Tom Smith, but it was his son Walter you can blame for his paper hats. True or false? Number 4. The Victorians pioneered the idea of what a century later would be called the Christmas single. The Victorians pioneered the idea of what a century later would be called the Christmas single. True or false? Number 5. The Christmas Eve meat auction at Smithfield's Market started over 30 years ago and has been run by Hearts of Smithfield. The Christmas Eve meat auction at Smithfield's Market started over 30 years ago and has been run by Hearts of Smithfield. True or false? Number 6. The Last Christmas Day tube ran on 25th of December 1979. The Last Christmas Day tube ran on 25th of December 1979. True or false? Number 7. So this is 5.7. The tradition of indoor Christmas trees was started by Prince Albert. The tradition of indoor Christmas trees was started by Prince Albert. Number 8. In the medieval period, the marshes on the north of the city at Moorfields froze over, creating a great spot for ice skating. In the medieval period, the marshes to the north of the city at Moorfields froze over, creating a great spot for ice skating. Number 5.9. Medieval Londoners celebrated Christmas Day with Yule dolls, which are biscuits in the shape of people or animal and flavoured with honey, nutmeg and lemon. Medieval Londoners celebrated Christmas Day with Yule dolls, biscuits in the shape of people or animals and flavoured with honey, nutmeg and lemon. And the final one for round 5 of the true and false with Christmas traditions is number 10. During the late Victorian and Edwardian eras, casual street sellers nicknamed gutter merchants sold tin plate penny toys. During the late Victorian and Edwardian eras, casual street sellers nicknamed gutter merchants sold tin plate penny toys. Alrighty, so please let me know if you want me to ask any of the questions again. No? Okay, well that's good. Must be doing something right. Now for round 6, you'll be able to see that there are photos of Christmas lights in London. And what I want you to tell me is, where was I? So the photos are included in your questions there. So you've got your answer options. So you can go through them individually. I'm not going to read them out. And once you are ready, please press submit and I will be able to get to the answers as quickly as possible. So I'm going to give you, let's start with 30 seconds and see how many we have left on this. Okay, so how are we doing? I know the pressure's now because I want to make sure that I'm able to answer any of the questions that you have as well. But have a little look down onto the answers that are there with the pictures and try and work out what kind of space, really, even if you're not familiar with the lights in themselves, you might say, well, wouldn't be able to fit that somewhere. So we do a virtual Christmas tour. I'm having a look at the names. Don't think any of you have been on my virtual Christmas lights tour. So you would have wowed the people if you had with the answer on these ones. And when you're ready, please press submit, and then I'll start seeing the responses come through. None yet. Always gets me nervous. You got the total of 60 points. And when you submit, you should be able to get your own team points sent to you. You'll be able to see those. Anybody having issues in that, please text me. No responses as yet. I know. I must think it's really easy because I'm the one that took the photos. Waiting for responses. Here we go. Coming through now. Thank you, Geeta. Oh, there we go. All right, so now I'll give you 1 more minute to make sure. Okay, right. I think that tough love really in. So I'm just working it out now. Righty. So I'm just doing a little summary of all of the. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Now, Sue, Brian, I think you need to come on my Christmas walks. I think that's going to solve a lot of your problems there. Alrighty. Let's just add you all in. And then I'll be able to share with you all how you all did. There's some very good answers here. Alrighty. So let's just regroup these. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to do a little screenshot of all the scores, and you'll be able to see yourself in that leaderboard then. And that'll be the easiest way to do it. Let me just close that. Then I have to find the screenshot. There it is. Okay. Alrighty. So hopefully you didn't find that too difficult. I mean, it's supposed to be challenging. Otherwise, now my computer's freezing. Of course it is. Trying to upload something. doing it live. The pressure is on. So if you have, because looking at the amount of time, if any of you have got a particular, you want to have a particular answer discussed, then please do let me know. One that's bugging you and go, I thought I knew that, but I got that wrong. I want some clarifications, and I'll certainly go down through the pictures with you. All right, so let me show the scoreboards. Here we go. So let me take off the banner so it's easier to see. So the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we got two 35s out of 60. Can you see that? I'll do it this way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Simon, Sue, well done. Norman and Anne, 38 out of 60. Very well done. Chris, 44. Oh, Geeta, or was it Rosemary who got the most answers on that one? 52 out of 60. That is phenomenal. I think that's the best result that we have ever had, and that is because Geeta has listened to my podcasts. So you show the it really does pay off. So well done. Can you all see yourselves in that one? I want to make sure I can see you all. Blah 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 blah. Sue, Malcolm, Julia. You're all in there, aren't you? Just want to make sure. Yeah, well done. Okay, so any particular questions you want me to answer that you're like a little bit more information of, because we are low on time, but I wanted to share with you the pictures that we have for Where Was I in London. So this is there's a bit of a fashion at the moment for triangles. I know this is a pyramid, but based on triangles, and this is in Granary Square in King's Cross, using the spheres as well. And they've done a series of triangular light installations over there in King's Cross. And then this one is the Churchill Arms in Kensington. Well, it's Kensington Church Lane, so you could argue it's at Notting Hill Gate, which is closer, but the address is Kensington, and they have 42 decorated Christmas trees on that pub. And then we have Tate Britain here. I think this is a phenomenal light installation. It's by an artist by the name of Chilia Kumari Singh Burman, and I didn't know her before this one came on. So I do love that tiger. Here we have South Molton Street. These lights have been the same for many years, but I do love them. The addition is that you've got the zigzaggy white lights across as well, but it's nice to be able to walk under something. Got the Royal Arcade here. This one's a Victorian one, and this is just off Old Bond Street. This is Floral Street in Covent Garden. So if I walk straight down this street, on the left is Covent Garden Tube Station. I think all of you got this one right. This is Fortnum & Mason's on Piccadilly. Well done. This one here is Neal's Yard. So if you could see, it does say Neal's Yard Remedy on the shop, but of course there are several of them, including on Carnaby Street, so it could have been anywhere. But yes, indeed it is Neal's Yard. This is Waterloo Place at the very, very bottom of Lower Regent Street. And I like how they've actually, those gold baubles, there are lots and lots of gold lights. And then the final picture that we have is Regent Street. And these are the largest angels that we have. There's a series of angels that are done for the Crown Estate, but these are the largest ones because, of course, it is the widest street. So has anybody got any questions, the things that they want clarifying with all the questions? Because I know there's a lot to go through. So I don't want to do that with the time and forcing you to go through, because you know which ones hopefully you got right and you got wrong. Or maybe I should go through, just have a look. So Just having a little look. Yeah, so eggnog being English, and it's something that we don't really drink now, is it? The Pickwick Papers mentioning the George and the Vulture. That is still a supper club in the city even now. We do that on our Christmas Carol walk. And yeah, 6,000 copies of A Christmas Carol were printed on this day in 1843, and they were sold out by Christmas Eve. And then the second edition went on sale Christmas Eve, and they even were on sale Christmas Day, which I thought was quite ironic. Charles Dickens expecting booksellers to work, but Bob Cratchit's of the world not to. Yeah, 4.8. Gita, you're absolutely right. This is all about why does Charles Dickens know the sponging house so well, and that's because his father, it was a debtor's prison. If you think of can I sponge a fiver off you, are you sponging off me, it's where we get the name from. And his father was in debtor's prison several times. The most famous one we know of is Marshalsea Prison in Borough, but he also was one in the city here. And then, most of you got wrong, apart from Gita and Rosemary, the Cratchit. So Bob Cratchit, when he slides down the ice on Cornhill in honour of Christmas Eve, and he runs home from Cornhill all the way across the fields to Camden. Now, Clerkenwell, excuse me, Clerkenwell is mentioned in A Christmas Carol, but that is when Scrooge is with the ghost of yet to come, Christmas yet to come, and he's seeing what could happen. And the lady who takes his best shirt and his curtains for his bed goes to Clerkenwell to try and sell them. And then, yeah, the section about Christmas trees with Prince Albert, it was actually Queen Caroline who started the trend for Christmas trees in England. And this trend started with the royal families then doing it each year. But it was Prince Albert who popularized it for the higher classes of society. But it wasn't until really the 20th century that normal people started having a Christmas tree in their house. And then, yeah, turkeys, they were introduced to the country during the reign of Henry VIII, and we started eating them then. And Elizabeth I was particularly fond of them and often chose a turkey instead of a swan or a peacock, which she could eat because she was queen. I'm just having a look at what the rest of you did. Yeah, very good attempt. I hope you found that interesting and you learned a few things. And hopefully by having the answers with you now, the ones you got right and wrong, you can now wow your friends and family with a new Zoom event showing how knowledgeable you are. So I will take that off. And the only other thing to say is to thank you very much for joining me on my final Christmas quiz of 2020. It's been an absolute delight. I do have a few Christmas virtual light tours left this year. And then the first tour that I'll be doing in 2021 is a virtual street art tour, looking at the best of street art that London has had to offered, not just now, but also in the past. And having a look at some of how some of the artists have amended their or developed their skills. And that's on Monday, the 11th of January. So it'd be lovely to see you there. But thank you very much for supporting me this year. It is always appreciated. And it's so lovely that everybody who has booked this evening has already been on one of my tours. So thank you very much. Have a fantastic Christmas. And I do wish you a happy and healthy New Year. See you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.